The No Kings protest returned to Wood County. Why organizers say this weekend's movement matters. Coming up.
And later, where you can now get both coffee and shawarma in Bowling Green, the restaurant behind this ribbon cutting.
Welcome to BG Weekly on BG24. I'm Aaliyah Webb.
And I'm Emma Lear. We have some breaking news locally. Bowling Green is already experiencing storm damage about 20 minutes in today's severe thunderstorm. A tarp and tires flew off a home's roof on University Lane near Falcon Health Center around 10 till 4 o'clock. Debris from the roof bounced into East Wooster Street. You can see the scene here. We're seeing gusts up to 40 miles per hour. We don't know what the wind speed was at the time of the tarp blowing away from the home. Hannah Robinson will tell more about the weather later in the show. Before we get into more local headlines this week, we will start with a major legal battle in Washington.
The U.S. Supreme Court is set to hear a high-stakes case this Wednesday on birthright citizenship.
President Donald Trump is attempting to change the long-standing policy through an executive order.
His goal is to prevent birthright citizenship from applying to babies born in the U.S. to undocumented immigrants.
The legal debate centers on the 14th Amendment, which grants citizenship to anyone born or naturalized in the United States, quote, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof.
The Trump administration argues that specific jurisdiction clauses empower the executive order.
Meanwhile, critics argue the changing policy would be logistically challenging. They warn U.S. citizens might ultimately have to document their own children's immigration status.
With criticals like this making headlines, it is a reminder that decisions in Washington often start right here at the ballot box. Ohio's May 5th primary election is just weeks away, and the deadline on the voter rolls is fast approaching. This cycle, voters will decide nominees for governor, U.S. Senate, the Ohio Supreme Court, and the state legislature, along with local issues right here in Wood County. To have a say in those races, you must be registered to vote. The deadline to get these rolls or update your address if you've recently moved is next Monday, April 6th. You can register online at voteohio.gov or in person at the Wood County Board of Elections. Early this morning, next day, April 7th, and if you plan to vote by mail, there is a major rule change this year. Ohio eliminated its 4-day grace period for late ballots. Now, your ballot must arrive by the 7:30 p.m. on Election Day or it will not be counted. Again, that voter registration deadline is next Monday, April 6th.
On Saturday, March 28th, No Kings protests were held internationally in response to the actions by President Donald Trump. One of these demonstrations took place locally in Bowling Green.
Hundreds of protesters gathered downtown at the intersection of East Wooster Street and North Main Street. Demonstrators carried handmade signs, sang songs, and chanted calls for government accountability.
Donald Trump has got to go! Donald Trump has got to go!
Several community members also shared their personal concerns.
If we don't fight for our democracy, we're going to lose it. You know, we are this close to I don't think most people realize that we're this close to being a dictatorship. I mean, he started a war without asking Congress or Senate, you know. That's not okay. That's never been okay. We shouldn't allow that.
It's important to be here today because our democracy and our Constitution is being undermined by the current regime. And I'm afraid that if we don't start speaking up and taking action, things will get worse.
Passing drivers expressed their feelings in different ways, some showing support by honking their horns with passengers holding signs out of their windows, while others expressed opposition to the protest while driving through the area. The event wrapped up at 1 p.m. with a live band closing out the day. Reporting for BG Weekly, I'm Emma Lear.
Organizers say over 3,000 No Kings protests took place worldwide. And with hundreds of people out on the streets, at least the weather cooperated. Let's bring in Hannah for our look at the local forecast. Hannah?
Thanks, Emma. It was definitely a weekend it was definitely a good weekend for any outdoor plans. We were seeing some very nice temperatures. Unfortunately, going into tonight, earlier today, we saw those severe storms coming through the area. That was just round one, unfortunately. Over tonight, we will be seeing another round of storms coming in around 9 to 10 p.m. So tonight we're looking at a high of 75 to low 43 with some gusty winds out there and again, just watching out for those storms. Tomorrow we're looking at some more of that rain with a high of 50, a low 41 with some more breeze in the area. And then looking at our Thursday, we're going to have some more thunderstorms, so you're definitely going to want to keep your umbrellas handy. We're going to have a high of 76, a low of 63 with still those breezes in the area. Friday, we get back to those nice temperatures without the rain, with partly sunny skies with a high of 74, low 58, continuing at that breeze. Saturday, we're unfortunately going back into those rainy temperatures with a high of 74, low 47, continuing those breezes. Looking at our Sunday, we're looking at partly sunny skies with a high of 52, low 35, continuing with those slight breezes in the area. Monday is going to be interesting because we're going to have some sun. The sun is going to be returning, but it's going to be cold. So we're looking at a high of 48 there, a low of 34 with just a slight breeze in the area. And then we're continuing that similar trend going into Tuesday with sunny skies, high of 49, low of 33 with slight breeze. And then finally for our Wednesday, we're looking at some partly sunny skies, a high of 61, a low of 45 with those winds continuing. That's all for the weather, and back to Malia in the newsroom.
That's a look at your weather. Now back. Thanks, Hannah.
Yep.
While we track those daily temperatures here at home, a new report from the United Nations takes a look at the global climate, finding it is severely out of balance and getting worse. The study looked to show how much solar energy the Earth absorbs compared to what bounces back into space. Researchers found that burning fossil fuels is trapping heat in our atmosphere, oceans, and land, creating a massive energy imbalance. Scientists compare the phenomenon to leaving a window closed in a heated room because the heat cannot escape, the planet simply cannot cool down. The imbalance is warming oceans and melting Arctic ice, disrupting ecosystems and driving up sea levels, according to the report. Heat-trapping greenhouse gases are now at their highest levels in about 1,100,000 years. The UN report also confirmed that the past 11 years have been the hottest ever recorded.
While that UN report highlights a massive global climate challenge, e-waste remains a growing environmental problem right here at home. More than 50 million tons of electronic waste is produced in the U.S. every year, with the majority ending up in landfills. To help combat that, the BGSU Office of Campus Sustainability hosted its annual electronics recycling drive this past Saturday at the Slater Ice Arena. Early numbers show a massive turnout. Nearly 96 cubic yards of electronics were collected. To put that into perspective, that is enough to completely fill 12 of the regular brown dumpsters you see behind academic buildings on campus. Without this recycling outlet, organizers say those items likely would have been thrown away. Instead, all of the devices will have turned their data securely wiped, then they will be refurbished for resale or scrapped so the valuable metals can be reused. And if you missed the weekend drive, you can still do your part. BGSU has year-round drop-off stations across campus, including right here in the Kulin Center where BG Weekly is shot. You can bring your old e-waste to room 103.
And finally, in the news tonight, BG has a new spot to grab a bite to eat near the north side of campus. The Bowling Green Chamber of Commerce hosted a ribbon cutting ceremony earlier today for Zane's Lebanese Grill and Zane's Coffee Shop. The new restaurant is located at 1424 East Wooster Street, just across from the campus. Owner Zane Ismail says that the Toledo-based family-owned business offers healthy, made-from-scratch Lebanese food and a fully operational coffee shop. The BG location is the company's 5th restaurant and brings the new jobs to the community.
And after the break, spring sports are in full swing at BG. Veronica Florek will tell us the latest.
And host of BG24's Community Corner. This week we spoke with a BGSU student who has some big ideas for a potential new mascot.
Bannon blitzing for the end zone, touchdown, Bowling Green.
Troy Glover spins around and gets the slam. McKee with the tag. Got the runner. Back across, it's in. Andrews with authority. Bowling Green has walked it off again.
Right from Chase Terry.
Jasmine Bird from beyond the arc. Gilmore with a big celly.
BG24 Sports is brought to you by the Falcon Media Sports Network. Hello everyone, I'm Veronica Floric. In track and field, the Falcons wrapped up competition at the Raleigh Relays this weekend. Bowling Green closed out the three-day meet with strong performances across multiple events. Rachel Hoover highlighted the weekend with a 9th place finish in the 800 meters, setting a new school record with a time of 2 minutes 7.06 seconds. And in 5,000 meters, Kylie Coverson led the Falcons with a time of 16 minutes 16.3 seconds, while Regina Rose recorded a personal best. On the relay side, the 4x400 team finished 14th and the 4x100 team placed 17th. The Falcons will continue their outdoor season next weekend at the Oliver Nikoloff Invitational in Cincinnati. And in baseball, Bowling Green dropped a high-scoring rubber match to Northern Illinois this weekend. The Falcons fell 12-8 after both teams traded 5-run innings in a back-and-forth game. Bowling Green answered early with a 5-run third inning, highlighted by triple from Griffin Schneiderer and back-to-back doubles from Carter Modis and Sam Siddell. However, Northern Illinois pulled away late using a 5-run inning of their own to take control of the game. With the loss, the Falcons fall to 8-17 overall and 4-8 in the MAC play, still searching for their first weekend series win of the season. Bowling Green returns home this weekend, hosting Akron in a 3-game series. And in softball, Bowling Green split a doubleheader with Buffalo Saturday at Missivert Field. The Falcons dropped Game 1 7-4 after Buffalo used a late inning to push the pull away. In Game 2, Bowling Green responded in a big way, taking the final 9-1 and controlling the game from start to finish. Senior Hannah Hunt led the offense, finishing the day with 6 RBIs, including a 3-run home run that helped break the game open. The Falcons out-hit Buffalo 11-5 in the second game, while Morgan Beckham delivered a strong performance in the circle, allowing just 1 run in a complete game effort. With the split, Bowling Green moves to 15-14 overall and 3-6 in MAC play as they prepare for matchups against Ohio State and Kent State this week. That is all for sports, but we are trading in the cleats for dancing shoes next. How BGSU students stayed on their feet to raise tens of thousands of dollars for local kids. We reveal the final number from this year's Ziggy-thon after the break.
BGSU hosted its 31st annual Ziggy-thon fundraiser on Saturday, March 28th. This event was a 10-hour dance marathon dedicated to raising funds for Nationwide Children's Hospital in Toledo.
Students and campus orgs came together to bring this Under the Sea event to life, with crafts, a bounce house, and a live DJ to keep the energy high.
Ziggy-thon 2026 came to a conclusion with a balloon drop and an announcement of a total of $32,580.44 was raised overall for the Miracle Children and their families. Thanks for watching BG24. Follow us for the latest news on social media at BG24 or online at bgfalconmedia.com.
We'll be back next week with updates from around Bowling Green and Wood County. See you next week.